In 1964, the Mississippi Freedom Delegation, of which Mrs. Hamer was a part and an architect of, came to Atlantic City, New Jersey, demanding a seat at the Democratic Convention to acknowledge the fact that the Mississippi Party there did not represent them. Mrs. Hamer's party was one of black, white, poor, rich, all those individuals that believed in inclusion. They were not allowed to be seated. They were told they could have one seat, and Mrs. Hamer said very famously, "We didn't come all this way for no one seat." She gave a speech before the Senate Credentials Committee. That is one of the watershed moments in the civil rights movement. Today, you will hear that speech by one of the students of the University of the District of Columbia Community College. Many times we do not tell our young people, our students, about the significance and the struggle attached to voting. So we need to stop that practice. We need to make it part of our conversations. One of the ways we can do that is with a public and oral history project. Coming to us today is going to be Professor Lenny Smith to introduce Mrs. Fannie Lou Hamer, who will give you the speech she gave before the Senate Credentials Committee. Professor Smith?
Good afternoon. I'm here to introduce our wonderful community college student, Ms. Jamila Coleman, who's going to be doing the reenactment of Fannie Lou Hamer. Jamila?
Mr. Chairman, and to the Credentials Committee, my name is Mrs. Fannie Lou Hamer, and I live at 626 East Lafayette Street, Ruleville, Mississippi, Sunflower County, the home of Senator James O. Eastland and Senator Steens. It was the 31st of August in 1962 that 18 of us traveled 26 miles to the county courthouse in Indianola to try to register to become first-class citizens. We was met in Indianola by policemen, highway patrolmen, and they only allowed 2 of us in at the time to take the literacy test at the time. After we had taken this test and started back to Ruleville, we was held up by the city police and the state highway patrolman and carried back to Indianola, where the bus driver was charged that day with driving a bus the wrong color. After we paid the fine among us, we continued on to Ruleville, and Reverend Jeff Sonny carried me 4 miles in the rural area where I had worked as a timekeeper and sharecropper for 18 years. I was met by my children, who told me that the plantation owner was angry because I had gone down to try to register. After they told me, my husband came and said the plantation owner was raising Cain because I had tried to register. Before he quit talking, the plantation owner police ordered us out. I got back on the bus. One of the persons that used the washroom got back on the bus too. As soon as I was seated on the bus, I saw when they began to get the 5 people in the highway patrolman's car. I stepped off the bus to see what was happening, and somebody screamed from the car that the 5 workers was in and said, "Get that one there." When I went to get in the car, when the man told me I was under arrest, he kicked me. I was carried to the county jail and put in the booking room. They left some of the people in the booking room and began to place us in cells. I was placed in a cell with a young woman called Miss Alvesta Simpson. After I was placed in a cell, I began to hear sounds of licks and screams. I could hear the sounds of licks and horrible screams. And I could hear somebody say, "Can you say yes, sir, nigga? Can you say yes, sir?" And they would say other horrible names. She would say, "Yes, I can say yes, sir." So well said. She said, "I don't know you well enough." They beat her. I don't know how long. And after a while, she began to pray and ask God to have mercy on those people. And it wasn't too long before 3 white men came to my cell. One of these men was a state highway patrolman, and he asked me where I was from. I told him Ruleville, and he said, "We are going to check this." They left my cell, and it wasn't too long before they came back. He said, "You're from Ruleville, all right." And he used a curse word. And he said, "We are going to make you wish you was dead." I was carried out of that cell into another cell where they had 2 Negro prisoners. The state highway patrolman ordered the first Negro to take the blackjack. The first Negro prisoner ordered me, by orders from the state highway patrolman, for me to lay down on a bunk bed on my face. I laid on my face and the first Negro began to beat. I was beat by the first Negro until he was exhausted. I was holding my hands behind me at the time on my left side because I suffered from polio when I was 6 years old. After the first Negro had beat until he was exhausted, the state highway patrolman ordered the second Negro to take the blackjack. The second Negro began to beat, and I began to work my feet. And the state highway patrolman ordered the first Negro, who had beat me, to sit on my feet, to keep me from working my feet. I began to scream, and one white man got up and began to beat me in my head and tell me to hush. One white man, my dress had worked up high. He walked over and pulled my dress up, pulled my dress up, and I pulled my dress back down. I was in jail when Medgar Evers was murdered. All this on account we want to register to become first-class citizens. And if the Freedom Democratic Party is not seated now, I question America.